Now, are you on the lookout for a new book? The Norwich-based Sunday Times best-selling author Rachel Hore has a new book out. It's set in the Norfolk Broads. It's called The Secrets of Dragonfly Lodge. It sounds tremendous. It's out tomorrow. Wonder if she's nervous. And it's influenced by her own mum's life working in zoology. Rachel is with us. Welcome, Rachel. Thank you for being with us. How are you feeling? You've had 12 books out already. Do you still get the butterflies before release?
I do, yes. I'm much more confident than I used to be, but it is a very exciting business having a book published and, will people like it and will people buy it and so forth. So, yes, I am a little nervous.
You've written 12 books already previous to this one. How do you keep the ideas coming?
Well, ideas don't drop into my head all fully formed. Quite often it's something very, very small that starts things off. This particular book, it was talking to my mum and her twin sister about their experiences as young research scientists in the post-war period, a time when science was particularly masculine environment to work in, and they had quite a lot of difficulties. But when I was talking to them about it, it occurred to me that it would be a very good subject for a novel, and it sort of grew from there. I had to think up a situation in the present whereby secrets from the past could be investigated, and I had to think about things like, where people were living and, develop characters and so on. So it's not, as I say, everything arriving fully formed. It's a matter of gradually building a book like pieces of Lego.
So we'll get to the plot in a sec. Usually I can't wait to jump into the plot of a book, but I'm so interested about your mum and your auntie, because post-war Britain, as you say, for women having any kind of profession, but particularly in science and zoology, they must have been real trailblazers, and both of them in the same line of work.
Yes, that's right. I think they were lucky because they went to quite an academic girls' school, so they did end up, having really good A-level results and getting into a really good university, Imperial College. But they had to work very hard and then they did PhDs and then went into different research type jobs. And but at a time when it was very fashionable, it was expected in society that women got married and had children very young, and they came up against this as a problem when they were, looking for the next job and so forth. Everyone said, "Oh, you'll get married and then you'll have children, and we won't employ you because of that," and that was very frustrating. So they both went off and became biology teachers and had very happy lives.
What wonderful women. It always, so many of us today are standing on the shoulders of women like your mum and your aunt. So that was the original inspiration, but you're also setting the book, The Secrets of Dragonfly Lodge, in the Norfolk Broads in 2010. So I'm guessing it's a modern stroke historical book, flipping back and forth, as you say.
Yeah, that's right, a sort of dual timeline narrative. So in 2010, there's a young woman journalist who comes looking for Nancy, who is the character from the past, and she's now an elderly lady, and she's living in this cottage, a remote cottage on a nature reserve in Norfolk, and she wants to interview this lady Nancy about her past for a book that she's writing. And Nancy is very reluctant to talk about it at first. There's clearly things that she's concealing, and it takes quite a long time for Steph, the journalist, to persuade her to talk to her. And she also comes up against Nancy's grandson, who's very protective of her and obviously knows something about the secrets as well. So there's quite a lot of if you like, clashing of interests going on here, and a certain amount of conflict and so on. But I really love the environment of the nature reserve, and it's just lovely to be able to drop in little descriptions of nature and so on, and and I enjoyed doing the research in that part.
I can imagine. When you're writing, is it all consuming? Can you literally not stop until you know that you've nailed every part of the plot and everything makes sense to you?
Yes, I would say that once I get to the end of the book, then I have to go over and over it until it is all smooth and everything makes sense, and the ends that need to be tied up are tied up. Yeah, so it's not just writing a first draft and then letting someone else tidy it up. You have to go over and over your work to make it as good as it can be.
Have you ever found that sort of bits from other plots that perhaps have been cast aside can then be a little paragraph in a book that work in your next project, that maybe actually a lost idea that couldn't quite work in book number 4 suddenly comes into its own in book number 9?
Well, that can happen, yes, definitely. Something one does have to watch, actually, is that a particular image that you've had and used in one particular book doesn't then crop up again and get repeated. So I have to keep on top of that. But I think I've got several plots that have been cast aside because of suddenly getting inspiration for doing something different. So there's always something to go back to for a future book, a half-developed idea. But it's trusting that the ideas are going to keep coming. But as I say, they're very little ideas to start with, and you have to put in the hard work of developing them. So it's a very pleasurable thing, but some of the ideas in my notebook are just sort of one-liners.
Well, we might be able to read them in books 14 onwards. The Secrets of Dragonfly Lodge is out tomorrow, yes. Rachel. Thank you so much for being with us this afternoon on the afternoon show. Rachel Hore there from Norwich. The Secrets of Dragonfly Lodge, set in the Norfolk Broads, influenced by Rachel's mum. It's out tomorrow.